Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, Land Rover Range Rover Velar actually debuted at the Geneva Motor Show just a handful of days ago. Now, this vehicle is going to be available in European showrooms very, very soon, with a release here in the United States later in 2017. But Land Rover has actually released pricing for this vehicle. It'll have a starting price of £43,553 sterling, or $49,900 US here in the States. And again, this vehicle will be available in showrooms very soon in Europe and a little later in the year here in the United States. Well, it's been a tad bit of time since we talked about TVR. Last time we talked about it was this particular teaser photograph. Now, this vehicle's pretty interesting, this vehicle being Gordon Murray design. If you don't know who Gordon Murray is, he was actually the fellow who designed the McLaren F1 road car. It's also going to be powered by a Cosworth engine, Cosworth Racing doing the engine for this vehicle, which is supposedly going to have over 400 brake horsepower. And the vehicle is going to weigh under 1,200 kilograms, or 2,646 pounds. It's going to be a lightweight indeed. Now, they're talking about the starting price of this vehicle being just under 90,000 pounds sterling. That may be just a little over 100,000 US dollars. That's if it actually reaches US shores. Now, Autocar is reporting that this group is actually taking 400 deposits for this particular machine, which is always interesting to me because no one's ever sat in the car, nor has even laid eyes on the car, but apparently that may have just changed. There is some rumors out there that TVR has actually invited every one of those 400 people to come in and take a peek at this car, or at least what they have going on so far. And they've gone through all the paperwork too. Made everybody sign a waiver saying they won't blab about this thing on their internet or to their friends or anything ahead of its September 2017 launch date. So cannot wait for that, and I'm really hoping that one of those people's reneges on that contract and shows us a little peek at what this vehicle may look like. Next up on the list, Toyota showing off the brand new 860. This is a step above the standard 86, but this is a special edition model. Now, the vehicle, obviously, you see, comes with new stripes, blacked out mirrors, a new rear spoiler. It gets a lot of aero work, along with a 4.2-inch TFT touchscreen that covers all the things that you want to do with this vehicle, including the vitals of the engine, the power output itself, along with the G meter and a lap time option. The vehicle has actually got a stiffer body all the way around, which has allowed them to revise the suspension settings on this particular vehicle, including brand new springs on all four corners, along with a brand new rear anti-roll bar. Now, the vehicle comes with the same 2-liter, normally aspirated flat 4, much like in the 86 itself. But this does get a little bump up in the power department to 205 horsepower and 156 pounds-feet of torque. That is with the manual transmission option. The vehicle only comes in 2 different colors. They'll build only 860, hence the name, of each of these 2 colors. One being this color, which is Supernova Orange, and it will also be available 860 versions of the Halo White vehicle. Starting price of this vehicle comes in at $30,040 US dollars. That is for the manual transmission version. If you want to opt for the automatic version, it will cost just a touch more at $30,760. This vehicle will be available at your Toyota dealerships later in the year. Well, another week goes by and another teaser video and another piece of the puzzle of what's going to come out for the brand new SRT Hellcat Demon. This particular vehicle showing the vehicle at the starting line with kind of a weird engine sound ahead of its launch. And it's actually explained in the press release to actually have the torque reversed launching system. Now, this torque reserve launch system is actually something of an old drag racer trick, at least for vehicles without a supercharged engine, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. What it does is there's a bypass valve on the supercharger itself, allowing this thing to build up boost ahead of the engine. A supercharged engine actually makes very linear power. So as the engine RPMs build, so does the boost of the supercharger, feeding more air into the engine. But this is going to allow this vehicle to actually get boost ahead of its maximum boost that it would normally get in that linear style fashion. So basically what it does is that the computer will actually reverse or advance the timing on the vehicle itself, basically, and also actually taking fuel away from maybe a cylinder or two at launch, because when you build up that kind of boost, it can overwhelm what they're calling the brakes and the tires. I'm assuming that means that the braking system is going to be heavily used as far as launching this vehicle. Anytime it receives maybe a touch of tire shake or tire spin, the brakes will actually be activated as almost somewhat of a traction control system. Now let's get back to the old drag racing trip, because the other two ways of actual power adders as far as drag racing applications are the aforementioned supercharger, but also turbocharging and nitrous oxide. When it comes to a nitrous oxide engine, you'll hear fellas talk about it in kit form. How many kits are you going to be running down the track? Meaning that they're going to come in, the nitrous oxide that is, will be coming and introduced to the engine in stages. If you just throw all the nitrous oxide right off the bat, it's just going to blow the tires off the machine. The same situation comes in with the turbochargers. If you ever hear one of those cars on the line, the revs come up and you hear that bah, 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 bah. Basically, that's not the RPMs of the engine getting up on the rev limiter. It's basically the turbochargers coming up and spooling up to a certain level that is predetermined as far as the computer running the turbo setup in the car. And that popping sound is basically the pop-off valves or the blow-off valves releasing that pressure ahead of the launch, and then the vehicle will build boost again as it goes down the track. I think that's what the SRT Demon is actually doing here, is it's building up boost ahead of the launch of the vehicle. And they may be thinking that that boost may be a little bit too much for the Hemi V8, supercharged Hemi V8, to actually put down to the tires. So the possibility of pulling back fuel from a couple of cylinders may mean this vehicle may launch initially at least on 7 or 6 cylinders. That has yet to be absolutely proven in that deal. That's just the way my mind is working in this particular deal. So more interesting stuff about the SRT Demon are going to be coming soon, because this vehicle doesn't debut for another 3 weeks at the New York Auto Show. And some more cryptic stuff, because this particular video actually shows off that license plate again, which has to mean something. Nothing is there by accident. The 3.9 plus 221 equals 405. Obviously means something. We may not know about it till New York, but if you figure out the riddle, let us know, because everybody else in the industry has no clue what's going on with this deal, including me. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiast. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.